Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here on YouTube. In today's video, we are talking Avalanche AVAX. Now, this is ranked number 13 in the entire crypto world. So this is a top 120 coin, which is great to see. It's up 10% on the day, but we are sitting nice and cool at $16.5 billion atop of 220 million coins. In addition to all of this, they just partnered with Voyager app to bring NFTs to the Voyager app platform. Now, this is going to be interesting to see what type of marketplace is put on the app or outside of the app to exchange NFTs. So this is going to get crazy, folks. And I do think that there might be still a little bit of room to run. $150 Avalanche coin. That's just a $32 billion market cap, which is nothing. Now, we could argue that $100 might be the next psychological step up from here. And that would just basically be around, I don't know, $21 billion market cap. Not the biggest thing in the world, actually. Before we get into the charts, check me out on Twitter at Real6Fig. This is where I'm dropping news, upcoming videos, and charts when I cannot make it to YouTube to create videos. So now we are looking at this big squiggly line known as AVAX, and we can see one thing that is quite apparent. The lows are getting higher, and the highs are for the most part staying in the same area that they were once before. There are a couple things that I'm seeing right out of the gates. Either this is some sort of head and shoulders pattern that is forming, and we might see somewhat of a neckline right through here. And so this might be kind of one of these things setting up. The other thing I'm seeing, though, folks, is that we have somewhat of an ascending triangle, in my opinion, here. We can see that these lows are getting higher here, and we can kind of crown this price action maybe right in here. And you can kind of see the argument made for some sort of ascending triangle that could be forming here. We are seeing price squeeze to the upside. So whether this produces more upside to the price, nobody knows. We are kind of far away from the 200 moving average. So that is really the only thing that kind of concerns me right now. Price action has really shot up since August 15th. I mean, we're talking, this thing was sitting at about $17, and then now we ran all the way up to $78. So let's look at this thing a little bit more on the 1 hour chart and just try to see if there's anything we can pick going forward. So first things first, we need to try to figure out a time frame for when this thing could really be setting up to rip. I'm going to measure this swing high to this swing low. This looks good in hindsight, but it's not what I'm looking for. We can see that this predicted a reversal here, a drop off here, and a reversal here. This is a valid confirmation, but I need something better than that. So let's measure this swing high down to this swing low here, and this nailed price action on the nuts. We can see that it predicted this, bear with me 1 second here, this reversal almost dead on. I mean, that's crazy. And then we do have another time sequence on November 19th. So in the short story, I don't know if we're going to see price action actually run out to November 19th within this ascending triangle. Usually what we'll do is see, price action really break, about a quarter of the way in, 1/3 of this ascending triangle. So I would speculate that somewhere in here is where price would leave this to go up or down. Now, like I said before, the head and shoulders thing kind of has me concerned. The new partnership with Voyager, that's great. That doesn't have me concerned, but was this kind of already priced in? I don't know. Nobody knows. This thing is ripping. That's all I'm saying. Currently, we can see that there is a little bit of Elliott wave theory going on here as well. So I do think that price action is due for a little correction, maybe in the next day or two. I do think price action's going to drift back down towards this cloud, maybe down towards this 50 moving average. So I think that this might come down to the high 60s, low 70s, but things are looking good. And it wouldn't surprise me to see this thing run up, touch the $78-ish level, and then come back down to bounce off this lower trend line if we are going to continue higher. So now that begs to answer the next question. So how high can this thing go? Well, we already discussed the $150 mark. We already kind of discussed the $100 mark. I think the $100 mark is probably the most psychological and most significant number at this point in time. So let's just go ahead and throw up a little fib extensions here in case this thing runs to the upside. And the 161.8 would be a level that I would look for some heavy resistance at. This is the golden ratio. The 127 is common for reversals to happen. But if we look at what's right in the middle of these two, the $100 bill mark. So I do think that $111, $94, depending on the squeeze, we might see as high as 132. Oh man, I mean, I'm speculating now. This is not financial or trading advice right now, but I'm going to cap this at about $150. And that's a significant amount of liquidity that needs to enter the market cap. So understand that. You know, $94 Avalanche, $110, $111 Avalanche. I mean, we're talking adding another 5 or 6 billion. So that's a lot of money for any crypto. But, you know, for something that's in the top 20, I do think that realistically, this thing could possibly land somewhere in the $94 to $111 range. I would like to see this ascending triangle more on a multi-month scale, then back to possibly September 8th. So it'd be nice to see this thing on like a 4 or 5 month scale. So bigger the ascending triangle, usually the bigger results you'll see, and vice versa. So that's kind of where I'm at with this right now. And let's just kind of play devil's advocate and see where this thing might end up if we see price action run to the downside. So with that said, if we do get that nasty little head and shoulders, we might be looking at somewhere in this $43 Avalanche, or possibly, I would say about a $43 Avalanche, maybe in order, $32 for that matter. But bear with me one second here. That would be, you know, if this thing head and shouldered, which would be something like this, and you can kind of see $25 to $30, so somewhere in there. It could happen. So if this does happen, I do think that, you know, the $42 will be a really hard check for price action, because the 127% is an area where price action does like to pull reversals. So if we start seeing this thing really cook to the downside, look for that. But I mean, right now, I don't know, guys. This looks like it could go either way. You know, I hate FOMOing into these things, and I feel like that's kind of what this video is. The price just ran, it just 3x'd, and so here we are looking at this. So be careful in whatever decision you make. Make sure you have done your own research, because once again, this is not financial or trading advice, but it's tough to tell. Really tough to tell. So with that said, folks, big shout out to all the Patreons. $3 a month. Get your name, YouTube channel name, or business name up on this banner. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day wherever you are at in the world.